Anyone that's ever experienced high levels of anxiety will know there sometimes comes a point where we start to doubt our own mind. That moment where we recognize our troubling thoughts as being unwarranted and exaggerated can shake our faith in ourselves and our own responses, and even have us questioning our sanity. In this video, I'll explain what's really going on and teach you how to once again restore faith in your mind, your thoughts, and yourself. I'm Tim Box, and this is what to do when you can no longer trust your own mind. So, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time, I'm Tim Box, I'm a mind coach, and for the last 12 years or so, I've been working with people to help them overcome all sorts of emotional and psychological issues, and in particular, helping people to get control of anxiety. Please hit that thumbs up button, and why not subscribe for mind coaching and anxiety advice videos every week. But anyway, let's get started. So I was following a post on my social media recently where someone was asking for help understanding why they were having certain concerns and experiencing certain negative thoughts that they knew weren't true. The thoughts scared them and had them questioning why they would be having them if their more rational side knew they weren't helpful or even valid. The most common response to this post was the idea that when you have anxiety, you just can't trust your own mind as there's a part of it working against you. Most were talking about anxiety being a liar and not to be believed. The general consensus was pretty much summed up by someone who wrote, "I learned not to trust my own mind. It's sad, it's painful, but that's it." I think this is a really understandable response. If our mind is steering us down a path we very obviously don't want to go down, then of course we're going to lose some degree of faith in it. If it presents us with ideas we know are false, then it's only natural we might question its advice. And if we start to have anxious thoughts that we know aren't true, then perhaps we'd be forgiven for starting to doubt our own mind. But the mistake here would be to assume our mind is now working against us. So there are two different types or level of trust. The first is trusting intention, and the second is trusting knowledge. So for example, I know that if I go to my dad for advice, I can be 100% certain that he's going to give me the advice he thinks will be best for me. I have absolute faith that his intentions are for my happiness alone, and he comes with no hidden agenda or ulterior motive when giving me advice. He is completely invested in telling me what he thinks will make me happy. However, I stopped trusting him to know what that is sometime around my late teens. That was the point when I started to develop my own ideas about what I wanted from life and what I believed would make me happy, and they didn't necessarily line up with what he thought would be best for me. Yes, I can still trust his intentions, which is why I still regard him as a great source of advice, but it doesn't necessarily mean I automatically accept his opinion, especially if it conflicts directly with my own. Well, that's kind of what's going on in our mind. There are different parts of our mind all jostling for our conscious attention, all thinking they know best. The part you refer to as anxiety, the part you believe is lying to you and trying to steer you off course, is in fact trying to protect you and keep you safe. It just has concerns that when brought into your conscious attention, you happen to disagree with. Sometimes that part will bring you thoughts that make you wonder what on earth it can possibly be thinking. Where did that idea come from? But whilst you might not trust its opinion, you can always trust its intentions. Most of us will know that feeling we get in our teens when we start to disagree with our parents. We feel like we're becoming adults, but they still see us as kids, so that means we come into conflict. We might even level the accusation at them that they clearly hate us and want us to be unhappy. But of course, the truth is that they love us and want nothing more than to see us happy. But they have different ideas on what that is. It's easy to fall out with the person that has different thoughts on our happiness than we do, and it's easy to conclude that the part of our mind giving us thoughts that seem to put us down or hold us back is out to get us. Sometimes in its efforts to keep us safe, our mind will tell us horrible things about ourselves and remind us of our shortcomings, trying to convince us that we're not good enough. But that part isn't trying to make us unhappy, its intentions are quite the opposite. It's actually trying to stop us putting ourselves into a situation that we can't handle and would lead to a negative outcome. Yes, that part is often wrong. It'll often try to stop us flying through fear we will fall. But this part isn't our enemy. It could be argued it's the part of our mind that cares about us most. But it currently still perceives limitations based on old experiences that a younger, less capable version of us had. So if we accept that a part of our mind is going to be shouting, limiting and anxiety-inducing things at us that we know aren't true, how do we decide what is true? This reminds me of an old story I heard about a guy who got pulled over for speeding, and he said, "Sorry officer, I didn't realise there was a speed limit on this road." The policeman says, "But there are speed limit signs all along the road every few yards." The driver says, "Yeah, but they're all covered up by trees." And the policeman says, "How do you know?" The fact is, the reason we are troubled by invalid or inappropriate anxious thoughts is because there's a part of our mind that knows they're not true. We only recognize these thoughts as inappropriate because we also recognize what is appropriate. It's only our questioning of why we're having them that causes us to be disturbed by them. That experience of having two conflicting thoughts that we need to decide between is part of being human and will happen several times every day. When we stop questioning why part of our mind would give us concerns we feel are invalid and just accept that sometimes our mind makes mistakes, we start to give a lot less time and attention to those more extreme and unwanted suggestions. You see, I still go to my dad for advice because even though I know his advice is based on a very different version of reality than mine, and I might not always agree, I also know I can completely trust that his advice will be what he believes to be best for me. In that way, yes, you can trust your own mind, even after it displays the propensity to give you thoughts that you don't want and would only limit you. It's not trying to destroy you, it's trying to help. Having thoughts about our own shortcomings or upcoming potential disasters will often seem unhelpful and feel like it's a part of your mind malfunctioning or causing deliberate distress. But always work on the assumption that this is just a part of your mind that cares enough to shout out warnings, even when the rest of you knows that warning isn't necessary. Having mistaken thoughts is part of being a human being, imperfect as we are. That experience of having a thought that is so easily rejected as false that you wonder why you would have it in the first place isn't in itself a cause for alarm. Choosing the option we believe to be more appropriate without beating our mind up for also giving us less helpful options will ultimately allow that part to learn and grow. When we demonstrate the ability to go beyond our limiting thoughts and old fears, we start to restore our faith in ourselves. Not only do we become more comfortable with any anxieties we might have, but the part of us creating those anxieties will start to do it a lot less when we remain unfazed by them. Accept that these thoughts come from a part of you that cares. Your mind looking after you the best way it knows how is something you can always have complete trust in. But what do you think? Have you stopped trusting your own mind? Does it help to know it's trying to protect you? Let me know in the comments below. Guys, if you've got something from this episode, then please hit that thumbs up button and why not subscribe to the channel for weekly mind management tips and anxiety advice. But that's it for now. I'm Tim Box, Mind Coach. Always remember to be kind to your mind, and I'll see you next time.